This episode is brought to you by Kia's first three-row, all-electric SUV, the Kia EV9, with available all-wheel drive and seating for up to 7 adults, with 0 to 60 speed that thrills you 1 minute and available lounge seats that unwind you the next. Visit kia.com/EV9 to learn more. Ask your Kia dealer for availability. No system, no matter how advanced, can compensate for all driver error and or driving conditions. Always drive safely.
Oh my God, you're gonna love it.
Hey folks, welcome to the AI Chicks, where we're providing you cool conversations about AI for all. With each episode bringing you a different topic on how AI impacts your daily life. I am your host, Aisha Corpus Wynn, always bringing you some vibes and some great insight.
My name is Lana Hout, and I'm bringing the fresh perspective and that entrepreneurial spirit to the table. Let's get into it. Today, we're talking about AI and music. So you can see we're really amped about this topic. And as always, Aisha and I are going to give our takes on the topic, and then we're going to go to one of our AI buddies and see what AI has to say.
Speaking of our AI buddy, for this topic, we are tapping into Copy AI.
According to Copy AI, AI has transformed the music industry by aiding in composition, production, and performance. It can generate new compositions and automate repetitive tasks, enhancing creativity and efficiency for musicians. AI also improves music streaming experiences through personalized recommendation systems, helping listeners discover new music. Additionally, AI-powered tools for audio analysis and tagging streamline content organization. While AI is a valuable tool, human creativity remains essential for the emotional depth and expression in music. Overall, AI's position in music opens new possibilities and revolutionizes the creative process.
Lana,
Yes.
you have dabbed in the music industry. So what is your take on all of this?
I love music, right? I mean, I think that's something that we're friends. We've been friends for a long time. Music is definitely something that we both love.
By the way,
Yes.
before you get into it, this episode's going to be really hard to not have to sing like songs and sing lyrics that we can't clear.
And dance to.
Yeah, and we want people to do it because we can't afford it right now.
Yeah, exactly.
We can't clear Universal and Interscope and all the other. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so
But,
take it away.
Yeah. So in terms of like music and AI, I think there's been a lot of conversation about it, right? We've seen a lot of headlines, a lot of news. From my standpoint, I think that an artist works really hard to build their brand. For someone to just come and just take their voice without permission or without compensating them is a problem.
Yeah.
Right? I think most people can agree with that. If you want to use their voice or their likeness, the artist needs to have control over their brand and needs to give her permission and needs to also get paid for it. And I think the scarier part about it is really about if you have someone take your voice and have it say some crazy things. That's, I think, one of the issues about it. You know, the Drake and the Weeknd song came out and that had a lot of buzz, right? But that was, again, an example of someone taking their voice and then they got pulled down from all the streaming services. And then you have an artist like Grimes who is open
Embracing
to it.
it.
Oh yeah. She's like, I want all the AI and I'll split royalties with you, which is really interesting. And then you have David Guetta, a big DJ, saying, oh, the future of music
is AI.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different perspectives on it. I mean, for me, in music streaming, we've seen AI in personalization, recommendations. I've discovered a lot of new artists, new songs that way. But I think the issue is really going to be about managing the creatives and how technology, AI, and music are going to play together. And this might be also my entrepreneurial side, right?
Here we go. Always keeping it business.
Always keeping it business. Okay. But I just start to think about like all the cool ways. If you were a producer, for example, Timbaland.
Yeah.
He's a big producer, has a specific style. Up and coming artists can't just call Timbaland and be like, hey, Timbaland, can I get in the studio with you? That doesn't happen. So wouldn't it be cool if Timbaland created like a producer AI that was his own incubator?
Got it. He's driving
That
and
he's
he
driving,
controls. Yeah.
and then he lets certain people in, and then maybe that's a way for him to find up and coming talent. Ultimately, we have to be protective of the artist from their likeness as well as from like monetization and their brand. But I still think that there's opportunities to work with it, and I think there's opportunities for innovation. What do you have to say on it?
Music has always been driven by technology. I mean, hello folks. like we're using technology to record in the studio, the drum machine, the synthesizers,
the auto-tunes.
Artists and music and producers have been sampling music for years now.
That's a good point, Aisha. That's true.
So I just really see AI as another extension of what technology can do for the artistry of music and the industry itself. I think at its core, you should always be getting permission from an artist or a producer to use their work. So how can we have this technology improve our recording experience or our distribution experience? Because again, we have all the platforms we have because of technology. When music became digitized, Napster came out and like blew everybody's minds. People were concerned, and then it got regulated.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I still feel that AI is just a new wave of that. It's the wild, wild west with AI and music. And so we're going to see these things that aren't regulated. We're going to see things people trying out on the side of being like an up and coming artist, a musician, and me thinking about it from that regards. I also feel like using AI as a tool to just help take that creative music that you're thinking about in your mind and helping it bring that to life. Because, for example, I play the piano, I play the guitar, I've dabbled in drums.
But can you just say like she's super talented, folks? Like, yeah, she's an executive producer. She plays 20 instruments. She is on a podcast. Like, okay, girl.
I love tech and AI.
Yeah, she loves tech and AI.
Well-rounded.
Okay.
But in making music, if you're hearing the drums or you're hearing some unique sound in your mind and you can't create it yourself.
Like if you can't play the drums or you don't have access to a drum set.
And so that's what a drum machine, a synthesizer, all of those things were helpful for people to this stage. But not everyone can have the support system or have the money to get that type of equipment. So the fact that there's literally AI tools on your phone through an app, they fast forward that sound that you have.
So it's really making it more accessible.
Yeah, and that's what MP3 and the digital music era did for a lot of people. And I think that AI could just take it to the next level with accessibility.
Well, on that note, I really can't wait to hear what our guest has to say.
I am so excited to introduce our guest for this AI music episode. It is the one and only Grammy award-winning singer, songwriter, and personality influencer, Sevyn Schroeder.
I am so excited.
All right, folks. Well, we have Sevyn Schroeder in the building. Oh, well, Sevyn, for those who may not know who you are, give us some highlights about all of your accolades and what you're up to now.
You know, I'm just a nice little country girl from Haines City, Florida. No, I'm a singer-songwriter, and yeah, I've been writing songs for about 15 plus years and singing and recording all my life. I've written songs for Ariana Grande, Fine China for Chris Brown, Keep It Between Us for Kelly Rowland, New Day for Alicia Keys, 7 songs on Chris's Fame album. It kind of made way for me to dive into my own artistry. So I have my own catalog and number ones, and God is good.
Humble brag. And so what do you have going on now?
Right now, you know, developing some really cool shows for television. That's been fun because I've never really had an opportunity to dive into film and television in that space. So it's given me a completely different outlet for my creative shit up here. You know what I mean? So like I've enjoyed it and I've learned a lot. So that's the next chapter and I'm very excited about that.
Before we dive in, we have to like bring her into that.
Oh my God. And to be a part of our AI squad, you need a nickname.
Yes.
Oh, word?
Yes.
She's like, I already got a stage name.
You already have a really cool name. Like Sevyn with a
Thank
Y.
you.
It's cool.
You still have to have like the AI squad nickname. Okay. So we have some ideas.
We do. Okay. We always have a candy nickname because we have candy on the set, so we might be a little sugared up, guys.
I like it.
But you're a star, so Starburst, of course.
Oh, I love Starburst.
Do you love that?
That's cute.
How Starburst that?
It sounds like juicy
and colorful.
And colorful.
Yes. She loves it already. Should we just stop there?
No, I want to hear the other one.
Okay.
Songbird. Because you are like a songbird. It's
Songbird Sevyn.
Like Songbird Sevyn is cute.
That's sweet.
It reminds me of this hummingbird that always is outside of my kitchen window. He always comes in my backyard. I'm like, that's cute. You know, it just makes me feel like, okay, he feels home at my house because he hears music there 24/7. So I'll take that. I like Songbird Sevyn.
I love that.
I've been itching to ask you this. What are people talking about in these recording studios and behind the scenes about AI? What are you hearing out in these streets?
Well, you know what? I will say this. Creating music is a very special skill set. You can't go to school to learn how to do it. A book is not going to tell you how to write a song. You know, melodies from heaven. You know, it's a real thing. Rain down. Kirk Franklin said it best. Rain down on me. Melodies come from above. Music, when you really, really feel it, you can't recreate it. You know what I mean? So the conversation surrounding AI, honestly, just how we're going to make sure that we protect and respect the creative. Innovation is inevitable. I'm not trying to be the granny that's like, no technology, no forward movement. We're not that, but we do want to be protected. Developing your skill set takes time. I personally don't want people to become enabled by AI.
Like microwaving the process.
Us humans, we can be a little lazy sometimes. I just don't want people to become enabled and they lose the art form of actually authentically creating.
Like from your soul.
From your soul.
Yeah.
That's a lot of our conversation. And then, you know, there just have to be a new set of laws that protect us, you know, and that's a huge concern of mine. So I'm okay if you get a little bit of assistance. It makes me more so a little bit nervous when it comes down to the usage of someone's voice, someone's actual voice, because when you sign to a label, that label, they own you. You sign 360 deals, they own all these different parts of you. Who's to say that they won't take your likeness and go create something that you completely
without your consent?
Oh, so you're really like, thinking about it from the perspective of you've already signed with the label and now the label's going and using AI
so she's not even talking about the public.
Even within the industry.
That's an interesting perspective that I actually have not heard too many people talk about, which is why I love this conversation with someone in the industry, because what we have been seeing on the news has really been a conversation about user generated.
That's so scary to me. You know what I mean? We're already fighting, you know, a lot of times when you do sign to labels, you're making sure that, you know, your ideas are heard. It's your art and you're already fighting that. So imagine what can be done if someone could just snatch the voice out of my throat and make it go do whatever they want it to do.
And take your image
and take your image,
make it do whatever it does.
It's scary.
Aisha and I have talked about that. We really feel very strongly that if it's an artist's look, sound, brand, voice, under the artist's guidance. If the artist wants you to use it, you know, you need permission from the artist, and then how you use it, and then that they're compensated appropriately for it.
I think when you say we're in the Wild Wild West, they just have not figured out the rules and the laws for it. It's just the respect thing. That's a really big thing for me, and figuring out the laws behind it, figuring out how you protect us. It scares me a little bit. I'll be very honest. It does.
YouTube started this incubator, AI incubator with artists. Ronnie Jerkins, who you've worked very closely with.
I just worked with him last week.
And that's why I wanted to ask you this, because he's now part of that AI YouTube Universal program. And everyone has known that will.i.am, who's an artist, but he's been at the forefront of AI and just technology in general. So I'm curious, would you participate in something like that? Like, what's your position on these types of new programs and incubators that are happening right now?
Well, I think that they're starting off on the right foot by consulting with our genius-minded creatives. You're talking about Rodney Jerkins, who has been playing and creating music since he was a child in church. So, you know, and the same thing with will.i.am, they have a great deal of respect and understanding for what it is that we do. That's where it begins, you know, just don't try to do it without us.
I think it's a good collaboration. At least that's how I saw it as an outsider. Okay, this is great. They're working together to feel out the Wild West.
Navigate it,
so to speak. The other idea that I was playing with, if Drake's team looked at, let's say, 50 songs and they narrowed it down to 10 and said, we think these 10 are Drake would like. And then Drake had his AI sing it.
Go demo them.
And then he hears what he would sound like.
That's true.
Right? And then decide if he wants it. But in comparison to how it really goes down in the studios at real songwriting camps and real demos,
right?
I'm curious, would that even play?
In a real songwriting camp, yes, it would. Because if you're taking, let's say, data that, you know, is putting together choices that I make melodically or my inflections or, you know, that type of thing, that would help. Because a lot of times there may be a song that someone submits, and my engineer used to always get on me, like, I would hear a demo, and I go, I don't really know if I want to sing that. He go, well, you're not going to know until you cut it.
Right.
And he'll say that to me. He'll go, well, just cut it. And once you cut it, you may feel differently. And 8 times out of 10, I'm like, oh, I do like this song.
And that might save Sevyn a lot of time if
Yes,
they could
it
just be
would.
like, hey, the group liked these 10 songs.
This is
They
true.
just put Sevyn's voice on it, and then Sevyn just sits and hears them. On the other side, we've seen technology in music like Spotify and Apple Music in terms of the
algorithm.
What do you think about those features, that AI?
Because that's AI, but in a different experience.
Yeah, it is, but you got to take the good with the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like no AI. Jesus, I wouldn't have the bank of songs on my phone that I like to go to and listen to all the time. If I know that I have to go write a gospel song this day and I need it to be an up-tempo gospel song that feels like this, I am using my AI like to make sure that I'm in that space. That's all I am playing in the car, driving to my session. It puts me in that world. And it's not me having to go and search through, and go find it
Individual,
myself.
songs and artists.
Yeah, I'm an artist as well. So if I need a certain batch of music to feel like this, it's easy for me to convey that to someone, but I could not do that without AI, truth be told.
Yeah.
And honestly, fun fact, a
Yeah.
little story time.
Oh, yes.
Sevyn, I actually just discovered your music through a playlist. I'm a big music person. I've always loved music since I was a child. And I'm someone who put the music on and let it play song by song.
Yeah.
But I'm someone who can be distracted. But if I hear a good song, I'm
Come
like,
on.
what's that? And then I actually heard a Sevyn song, stopped, was like, oh, Sevyn Streeter. I was like, oh, who's that? Clicked on her and then started listening to her
And
music.
then it opened up Pandora's
And
box
opened
of
up Pandora's box.
goodness, of R&B and
all of the
melodic
goodness. It was melodic goodness. HMU. What about us?
Thank
yeah.
you.
So
Oh, she knows
that-
the
Yeah. Oh, I'm girl. You think I'm just making the story up? No, this is a real story. We keep it real here on the AI Chicks. But it's funny that an algorithm is also what led me to your music.
Yeah.
And now you're here. It's very full circle. For
Yes,
me.
it is.
Yes.
Yes, it is. And
a
thank
sweet
you for
AI
that.
chick moment.
Yeah. For Songbird 7.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
We've covered some various areas of AI. For the most part, we feel like there's room for it in the music industry, in the music process. I want to flip it on its head and throw out the thought of if there was like an AI music genre, if the Grammys, the Billboards, BET
Like you could have
Awards.
like 7 AI sang the song.
Yeah,
and
but
it's
like
just
if
7
and
AI.
I haven't again, like I just want to spitball here, but could it get to a point where there are some types of songs where the voice is fully an AI voice, despite if it's a known artist or not, but it's an AI voice, and the music was generated by almost like 90% by AI,
and
the lyrics were written by AI,
Okay.
and then it's like, could that be a new category
of music
for music? And that way,
a good
it's
question.
not overtaking human skilled God-given talent generated creative music, but then it has its own like lane. Like I kind of think about it in the way of like animation, right? It's just like how animation has its own category. I wonder if
it'd be like pop, rock, AI.
or gets a different name for it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
or
or like
like
technology
just how
or
there's
something.
EDM, right? Like
Yeah.
because of technology,
Yeah.
we were all these DJs became like mega
stars
and
true.
get nominated for awards.
That's
so I
true.
wonder if there's a way for AI to kind of have that lane in the music industry. What are you guys' thoughts?
I think you hit the nail on the head. Give it its own category. That's where it gets tricky because it's the most popular song on TikTok, so it deserves to be nominated for this right alongside this. No, it does not.
Yeah.
It does not. But I'm not saying that there isn't something to it, that time and effort or whatever was put into it. Somebody somewhere put some effort and some time and a skill set because it's, into that, but just don't get the two confused. I think house them where they need to be housed and still respect the creative. We can differentiate between the two.
You know when something's sampled.
Yeah.
You know when someone's using auto-tune.
Yes, you can tell.
If there's a way to embrace AI more into the music industry and into the creative process, but then noting that it's AI.
Yeah, just
versus
just
like a
don't try to
human.
slide it in there and make it seem like it was,
It was legit.
it was legit.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing, just don't do that. But absolutely, let's utilize it. Let's educate people on it. Tell us the different ways that we can play around with it. I'm here for it. Yeah.
The big buzz came with the Drake Weekend AI song. What's interesting though is that obviously the person, used Drake
Yeah.
and The Weeknd's voice and
Yeah.
you can't do that. And then all the streaming services had to take down the music.
Yeah.
And of course you can't make money off of someone else's talent.
So the fact that it had to be pulled down lets you know that There was no stamp on that saying, hey, this is not actually The Weeknd and Drake. So how did it get there? That's the scary part of it.
And that actually is calling out loopholes in the system.
It's not the creator of the song's fault. But
they took advantage of it.
They took advantage of the situation. And that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's like they knew it. They didn't go sit in the studio with Drake and The Weeknd and record that record. They were going to run along with it as long as everybody else did. If it did not get caught, we would have been, you know.
You would have been at the nightclub and you'd be like, listen to this song. Like, oh, Drake.
Yes.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, just to give our listeners clarity, the person wrote the song. They wrote the lyrics.
He said that he wrote the lyrics, he produced the song and produced the track, and he said that the only AI part was the voice.
Okay.
It begs the question, right?
It's
like, oh, what's your question?
I'm like, but did you really write the song?
Oh, okay.
Well, what I'm saying is in the interview, that's what he was claiming. I think it also begs the question of if you're an up and coming artist and you're trying to have your music be heard. I'm not saying that the way in which this person did it was the right way, but in your experience, what could up and coming artists do to not get the backlash?
I wish that there were a way that if you're going to use AI to, let's say, write a record, I want to know what percentage of the song the AI wrote and what percentage of the song you wrote. You know
to be able to trace the process.
I wish we could.
They are working on being able to trace like AI's output.
Okay.
So again, this is on the tech back end side.
Okay.
Then that means that like all of those music platforms would need to have some sort of identification stamp within the music, and they could do that digitally.
If you don't treat it that way and do it that way, then how are you going to determine who gets pub deals
with who gets paid for what?
And like who are you going to pay? How do you know who the true creatives are? Like,
I think that's actually a pretty good solution for the industry when I think about it now. If a AI platform is generating an output of a voice, there's some sort of identification that you can track within that digital imprint that like, oh, this came from AI. Same with music, same with lyrics, and then that way, yes, you can keep track of things for the purpose of splitting royalties, copywriting things with publishing.
It's like there's still a human interacting with the AI. The AI is not just spitting out song lyrics at you, right? You're telling it, hey, I'm writing a love song and I want it to convey this feeling or this feeling. There is still a human involvement in it. Once you get the output, it's never like it's perfect. Like you're deleting things, you're rerunning it through, you're reprompting. It can take a lot of back and forth.
There is a lot of back and forth for right now, but that's going to advance.
Right. It's going to advance. But what I'm just saying is like right now, maybe there needs to be AI's role was only 15% of the song. And I'm not saying that I'm deciding that it should be 15% or 20% or 10%. But like, is it just another tool? And as long as the tool is within a certain parameter of reasonableness, people can still feel like good that the creator really did create the song. If 80% of the song is really done by a human and 20% were tweaking words here or a little, you know, auto-tuning over, you know, whatever the AI technology is you're using, would that be reasonable? And then would that even need to be its own category?
For example, like the Grammys added the category Songwriter of the Year. I'm thinking about the songwriters that I grew up like worshiping. The biggest songs in the world that we play at our weddings and that we play for your birthdays or you send to a loved one. If it comes down to a Grammy Award for Songwriter of the Year and you have someone that is this whole bank of AI generated songs and lyrics against actual there just has to be, we have to differentiate. There has to be laws created for it. There have to be new rules created for it. Don't hide behind the technology when it comes to things that require real skill sets.
It's true, because music is very much about connection.
You know what I mean?
The songs she's talking about, it's like the songs that everyone plays, let's say, at their wedding. Or we all love those songs because there's the human.
I wonder if this is just like a generational thing, right?
It could be.
Because I remember coming across older generations that feel like the music today isn't real music. Because they're like, oh, none of those kids play instruments. Like, you know, like you create a whole bop on a drum machine, and they're hearing all the trap music, all the EDM music, all the EDM music, and they're just like,
what is this?
Yeah, they feel like this is all a hot mess. It may not even be like a thing for them. They may hear a full-blown song that is fully 100% AI written lyrics, AI produced the music, but it could be fully 99% AI generated. And they may think like, oh my God, I want to get married to this song. I want to walk down the aisle. You see what I'm saying? Like,
that's true.
It could just be a generational
I'm not saying
thing.
that AI can't create great songs.
Yeah. Right.
I just think that we just need to know which great songs were created by AI and which great songs were not created by AI. You know what I mean? Facts. AI gonna be the homie. I get it. You know what I mean? AI can throw you an alley hoop, but it's an alley hoop. You know what I mean? I'm gonna dunk that bitch in there. You feel me? Yeah. My thing is, if I were to write a song with you, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, the producer will get 50%, the writers will share the other 50. Okay. Let's say I wrote my part myself and you had AI completely write all of your shit. I'm going to feel some type of way if we have to split that all the way down the middle and I get 25 and you get 25. I just am. And it really, really breaks down in how it's going to affect actual creators.
We're talking about the business, right? This is not just people who have passions and are making music. This is their livelihood. This is how they pay their bills.
Mm-hmm. You're opening Pandora's box, you know, essentially. And if we don't govern and watch over what comes in and out of, you know, that box, it can get really wild out here and we can lose the art form of actual, you know, creation of music.
And also too, like just live performances as well, because it's like,
we love live performances.
Exactly. Like I love a concert. I love a stage performance.
I do too.
Exactly. And
it's
so
like the best part of like loving an artist.
Exactly.
Going to see them live.
You don't go to the Hollywood Bowl and just watch a screen the entire time?
Or a hologram.
Listen, these young kids might want to do that.
No.
Okay. I don't know.
I like the option.
Yeah.
Right? We can have the option. Just things that are passed down and passed down and passed down. Some things need to continue to get passed down.
Need to be preserved.
Need to be preserved.
The tradition.
The tradition. We can add things in. We can collab and create whatever. But I just feel like if we don't preserve some things,
then we're losing it. We're losing the essence.
We're gonna completely lose it. Mm-hmm. There still has to be a select group of people that want to make sure that we don't lose it. You know,
I love that. Well, I want to switch gears real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to just switch gears. I just want to ask Sevyn.
Yeah.
With everything that is, you know, with AI, you can write music, you could create album art, you can do videos, all that stuff. If you had to create your dream track, and who would be on that dream track?
And no matter who you decided on, it was approved.
It was approved. And you would get compensated for it and everything would work. Like, who's your dream?
Quincy would produce it. Ooh. Quincy Jones would produce. Michael would have to be on there somewhere.
Okay. Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Prince would have to be on there somewhere.
Oh, yes.
This Aaliyah would have to be in there somewhere.
Okay, this is like a We Are the World.
Yeah. New fly ass We Are the World. That space where you just heard so many different textures and tones, and Beyonce has to be there.
And she's still with us, so we can use a real Beyonce.
We can manifest that.
Yeah,
for you.
Always real Beyonce.
Always, period. Yes.
It's a mega record.
Everybody's on the record. That goes back to that's the beauty and authenticity. You know, you can't duplicate those artists.
And also the magic, I think, that happens with the collaboration of the artists
together. There's that extra magic in there. Well, thank you for sharing your dream AI collab, AI human generated collab. I'm sure this has been like the most unique interview and conversation you've ever had, because no one's talking to musicians and the industry people like this in the media about AI.
And I'll be honest, there's so many questions that I do have. I'm learning more about it every single day. I'm not opposed to it. I just, like I said, I think in all things balance.
Right.
You know, making sure that we give people their just due. You know what I mean? Their flowers and making sure that just balance.
That is a perfect way to end the episode. Thank you so much, Sevyn, for joining us.
Songbird Sevyn.
Yes, Songbird Sevyn.
Thank you.
If you're not familiar with her music, definitely check it out. And on that note, check out rest of our other episodes, our website. Follow us at the AI Chicks on all the social media platforms.
And don't forget to grab the merch.
Yes, that's right. All right, take care, everyone. Bye.
Listen to the AI Chicks on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Video episodes are available on Patreon. And check out our socials at the AI Chicks.